Okay, so some issues here. Hello, everyone. Sorry, there was some technical issues that I had to change the link. So let me just put the new link in the Meetup group. Hopefully, everyone can find it. There was an unexpected thing. Let me just check. In the events, I can. And let me, yeah, everyone seems are missing the link. I'm going to just quickly update it. And hopefully everyone gets the new link. Cool. So sorry for this technical issue. I hope the others, just find the link and back to this channel again. Okay. And yeah, let's wait for the others to join. There was some issues with the StreamYard, where we are doing our streaming. So yeah, it didn't like us. And I am preparing my items here. Oops. There it goes. Okay, guys, in the chat, you can just let me know what's happening and how are you with your studying? Have you got your voucher or not? Just stay tuned. Cool. I think I'm good for now, and we can kick it off. So let me bring my stuffs up and start the session. Awesome. But if anyone can just confirm if all good, with the resolution, with the streaming, everything is good with you guys. Up, also this one, bring it up, share my screen. Okay. So, cool. Yeah, session number 4 of the series of DP-600 at Fabric Café. Yeah, my name is Mehrdad Abdollahi, the community lead and your instructor in this series of DP-600 exam preparation. I'm based in Vancouver, Canada, and yeah, happy to be here at Microsoft Fabric Café, a global community born in Microsoft Learn with almost 6,000 members, around the globe, with focusing on Fabric and Power BI. We have the weekly sessions for those who don't know about our sessions, and here are our social, information that you can just find us on YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe on that and share with your friends. And on our LinkedIn page, we do our announcements on the community groups and also the Fabric community group. You can just start the discussions and find your peers. And in the meetup group, for sure, you can just find the next sessions, do the RSVP, and rate the sessions. There's a code of conduct when you join the live sessions. Thank you very much for adhering to that. And let's jump into the actual discussion that we have at session number 4. In the previous sessions, we have covered this, green, highlighted green stuffs. And today, I'm going to just wrap it up. And it may be a bit longer than the previous ones, at maybe 2 hours and a half or 3 hours, depending how complex it will be for us. But we will talk about semantic models firstly, and then we work on the Power BI itself, DAX Studio, and these kind of stuff. And then we move to real-time intelligence and just some deployment pipelines between the workspaces for doing the CI/CD. Just one thing, bear with me until the end of the session. I have a surprise for you. It is related to the vouchers. I will have something fun for you. Okay. Let's start with semantic models. Design the semantic models. First of all, let's say, what is semantic model? It is, if you're familiar with the Power BI and you are coming from that world, of course, you know that. But if you're new, your new, semantic model is basically a kind of data storage, let's say, and that we are making our model of the data. We are making the tables, connecting them together, and make them ready for being used in our visualization in the reports in Power BI or other tools. Of course, in the enterprise organizations, the data is massive. It could be complex. It is diverse. We can find the data from different sources, and the data is rapidly changing or adding to that, and it is very important for them. It is valuable for those organizations. So it is important how we model the data to be more scalable. Basically, the scalability is how our data, how our model is going to be flexible. In the case of when a data is grown, actually, the number of records are growing for, let's say, for a retail store like Walmart, right? Every day they are adding millions of records to their database. So the data is growing, and our system should be scalable. Should just answer in the right time for any request is coming to, and it is important that we reduce the complexity of the whole data. Let's say in our transactional data and also in our data warehouse, we have a bunch of tables, but in the model we are going to just resolve the complexities and make it more understandable for data analysts. They only want to think about data. They don't have to follow the full details of the business. So it is very important to have a scalable semantic model. There's a question: how do I design for scalability? So of course, firstly, we need to follow the best practices when we are creating our model. What are the best practices? We can talk about them, but of course we can follow the the instructions that are follow the best practices in sourcing of the data, transformation of them, loading them, where to store them, and how to store them, how often to refresh that, and if it does make sense to import the whole data or a bunch of data. And so it is important how we are going to need that data to be accessed. And another thing is that we can just enable the large semantic model storage feature in Fabric. That we will look at that as well. It is important that what kind of storage mode and we are actually choosing, and how we design our model. First of all, let's go to the Fabric portal and see where this basically semantic model is going to fall in, and where we can find it. The semantic model, let me bring it. Yeah. Sorry. The semantic model can be built in different ways. One way is creating it from our, let me just go to the workspace that we have created before. Very first one, is creating a new item, and we can look for that semantic model. And as you can see, it is located in the stored data section. So it is a storage of the data. We can create it, right? The other way is, for example, we've got our lakehouse, right? And we can build the semantic model from those components that are in that lakehouse, plus just adding something else from the outside of that. When we open the lakehouse, it is going to be shown here, or even in the SQL Analytics endpoints, we can see the semantic model. But when we click on that, it is going to just ask us for a name, an appropriate name, and just selecting the tables, right? And where the in what workspace we are looking for basically the just to create that semantic model. For example, here when I want to create the semantic model of let's say my first semantic model in Lakehouse, let's say. And I'm going to just choose the tables that I've got. Have a fact cell and dimension of city, and just confirm it. Then all those tables are going to be selected tables are going to be loaded in my model. That's it. I don't want to dig deeper, but let's see what are the available options firstly. And then we can available options in the semantic model, and then we can just back to the slides. It takes a little time. So while it is busy, let's jump into the slides. So it is important that what kind of storage mode we are choosing for each table that we are loading basically into our semantic model. We are adding that to our semantic model. There are three main storage modes that we've got. It is importing the table, importing, the data is going to be imported and stored in the Power BI or in that semantic model, let's say. And basically the actual data is landed. The import can be imported from a file, from a database outside of let's say Fabric, where we don't have direct access to that. We can just it can be even on-prem things that we can just import the data for them. And of course, when we load the data there, we need to refresh that data in regular schedules. The next type of the storage mode is a direct query, where we cannot or we don't want to import the data, right? It is going to connect to our data source, and only the metadata of those tables are going to be stored in our semantic model or in the Power BI, let's say. It supports limited transformations because it is landed in that data source. We are not loading them. We are not doing the full transformations in our Power Query. And but the good thing is that it is always up to date, and we are always getting the last data from that data source. Of course, there are lots of limitations there, but the important thing is that when we use the direct query, right? The direct query is going to be used when, for example, the data is 300 million rows that we don't want to import them, and it doesn't make sense to import them, or when a data source is rapidly growing and changing, let's say, and there is no time just for bringing them in, transform them, and just push it to the semantic model. So it is better to have a direct link, a direct query to that data source, and just get the data that we need for our analysis. These two were in previously they have been in Power BI for years, but with Fabric, direct link was added, so it is going to be connected to the Fabric Lakehouse and Fabric warehouse basically, and the data is sitting in the one lake, and we don't have to just grab them. The good thing is that it is very faster than the direct query, and it is also the same thing like a direct query is supporting limited transformations, but it is always stays up to date. And when it comes to the combination of one of these guys, right? One side is import, the other side is direct query. When we create a model like this, it is called composite models, which is combining these two. However, when we create the direct lake mode, we can import the data, and it is also called composite. There are other, basically detailed type of the storage mode that I listed them here. For the import, we talked about that. In Power, when this actually slide is showing when these kind of storage modes are going to be available for us to choose from, or when we, for example, select a table, when they are going to be applied, and it is the only the only basically option that we have. For the import mode in Power Desktop and Power BI web modeling, or let's say Fabric modeling, for almost all data sources, when you select get data and use Power Query. So it is going to be only a snapshot of that data, and you need to refresh that, as I mentioned. We have two types of direct lake. The direct lake on one lake, which is basically we get the data, we link our, basically load the tables and the metadata of them. When we choose the one lake catalog as a data source, and the data is not loaded, as we mentioned before. It is always there, but the data is scanned actually from the delta tables, right? Where it is a delta table, we can, just access that. The other type of the direct lake is on SQL Analytics endpoint. That is coming from what we just created, right, on the lakehouse or on the warehouse, or even the snapshots that we have created in the previous session for our warehouse, right? On top of that, also we can create these semantic models. There are some limitations there. For example, it is a direct query, right? There's a direct lake on those SQLs, but there's always a limit. And if your data is passing the guardrail in the Fabric, it is going to automatically, sorry. I hope it is better for you. It is basically, where was I? Yeah. There is a bit of the limitations. One of them is the falling back. Falling back for the direct lake on SQL Analytic endpoints, when you are, your data, the data that you are basically reading from is more than number of records. For example, in Fabric F2 capacity SKU, actually, when you have more than 300 million records, it is passing that guardrail, and automatically your direct lake is going to be changed to a direct query. So of course the performance of that is going to be lower. So the next one is the direct lake on SQL is available on the SQL endpoints, as we mentioned, and the direct query in Power BI Desktop for some data sources such as SQL databases. When you select get data and use Power Query, it can be the direct query. The data is going to be queried from the source, but The thing is that you can change the direct query to import mode in your Power BI desktop when you are creating your model. When you just change it to import mode, you cannot just change it back. The other type of the storage is direct query on Power BI semantic models. So it is in Power BI desktop available. When you connect to a semantic model, which is in your Power BI service or in the Fabric, then basically you are making a live connection to your semantic model to get the data from. And as it says, the DAX queries from the new model run on the source actually model and can use measures from both. The next one is dual. So for the dual, it is only in the Power BI desktop that when you have the direct query mode, and you can just switch between import and direct query, right? And in this case, you are just letting Power BI to just make the decision where import the data and where do the direct query based on the circumstances that are available at that point in time. So the thing is that the relationships are going to be limited for these type of the storage mode, and for the hybrid one, which is more complex stuff, that is going to be only available in the enterprise mode. In the premium, mode and capacity. That is basically in this hybrid is when you are activating your incremental refresh, and in those scenarios you have an import table, and you can just put some part of that in the archive section dynamically, and in one section of that, which is the data from your previous run until the data that is in your transactional database or your data warehouse, or the source of the data wherever it is, you can just it is going to just make a direct query. So it is going to be a hybrid, and it is only available in basically to implement that, you need to just have access to the Power BI desktop. So let's go to the portal, and let's have a look at the table, the semantic model that we have created, my first semantic model lakehouse. Let's open it. So what does it give us at the first stage? It is just going to just give us some high-level information, and when it was refreshed, the refresh is what we discussed, the import, if it is in import mode, it is going to bring the data in. If it is in the direct query or direct lake, this refresh is basically is reframing or just getting the latest metadata from your source and make your model to keep your model up to date. And the next thing is you can just refresh that or schedule your refresh. The refresh, the count of refresh schedules are varied based on the capacity that you are using. In the Power BI Pro, if I'm not mistaken, it is only 8. Let me just bring it here. You can only define 8 just times in a day. And in the premium one, you can go for 48, if I'm not mistaken. Just correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, that's for the refreshment. Let's back to our semantic model. So in the right side, you can see the tables. And on top, you can, just analyze it in Excel. If you're, comfortable in Excel, you can explore it. You can share it with others. But sharing, you can just give others access to, allow recipients to modify this, semantic model, allow, recipients to share this semantic model with others, allow them to build content with the data associated with this semantic model. And if we are going to send any email notification for those guys, we are adding to them. You can just, as I mentioned, if you click on one of these tables, it is going to automatically show you the the data. I just ticked for the whole table. It may take a bit long. These tables are sitting in the lakehouse. So it may take time to load it a little bit. I don't know how long, but I would prefer to look at the data somewhere else. Let me check if the only city name is going to be loaded here. Not sure if we have data in those tables, but there should be. Let me do this. Okay, before we jump into that section, let's open the semantic model for now. We will do the exploration of that data later. But for this one, when you open it, firstly, it is in the viewing mode. Of course, you need to just change it to editing mode if you want to do the a modification on your model. And if you hover on the table, it is going to give you some informations that where this data is coming from. For example, it is coming from a data warehouse, or from this SQL Analytics endpoint I'm in. The storage mode is direct lake. What table is it? And there is no relationship between these two yet, but we can create one. And when you put it in the editing mode, of course, the top ribbon is going to be enabled for you. And you can see, you can add the measures. We will talk about them. No worries. Just wanted to show you how it does look like. And while we are here, you can just create a new report on top of this. You can create a new report on top of this model, or even save it to a version history. So it is going to give you a history. Only 5 histories are going to be shown here. And the histories, actually, the version history of a semantic model is happening automatically sometimes. Actually, in the cases that you publish a new model from your Power BI desktop, or you open it from the front end, as I have done. And the other type of the versioning is that I just save it as a new version. And when I save it as a new version, I can just set a comment on that to just know what's happening. And as I mentioned, only top 5 of them are going to be available here. Let me just back to the slides. Let me check if hopefully this is it for you. Okay, cool. There are some, as we mentioned, when we are going for the, creating a scalable model, we need to follow the best practices. The best practice, one of the best practices is, just prepare data upstream as much as possible. Right? What is upstream? We have upstream and downstream, right? For the upstream means where we are getting our data from the sources. It can be the databases, the data warehouses that we are using, the ETL process that we have, the data flows, pipelines, whatever that is related to our source of the data. And there are lots of ways. For example, we can connect to the views instead of the actual tables. We can only add the tables that we need, only add the columns that we need, and not selecting everything and bringing them here and then filter on them, or just remove the unwanted columns. So it is important that if we have a plan for, if we have a proper plan for our model and our reports, then just identify them from the beginning in the source, create a view on them, or even calculated tables or materialized tables that can reduce the work of the transformation in our model when we are encountering with the model. It is important if you're having a large data, just use the incremental refresh and partitioning, avoid loading unnecessary data. Just use the appropriate data type, the data types that are supported in Power BI and Semantic Model. Just look for them and just find the comparison between and what type of the model, what data type basically is going to work for you. And just make sure, just one of the examples that is brought here, for example, use integer as your ID columns instead of the strings, right? And try to push more, more of the the pressure of the transformation to your data source, and just consider folding of your data movement and data transformation. And so it is going to just give more space for your model and less pressure on it. We mentioned about the just large data models, large semantic models, that when we are having large data models, we need to keep in mind that there a limit for our data models in Power BI service or in Fabric, which is 1 gigabyte. And but with just enabling large semantic model storage format in our for the semantic model that we have, it is going to just maximize the size of that. It is going to give it more space for doing the data transformation and also all of the queries that we have in our semantic model. Where to find it? Let's jump into the slide. To the portal, and when we go to our workspace, we can find the semantic model that we've got, and click on settings, 3 dots, and click on settings. You can go to this large semantic model storage format. It is automatically changed to on because it is linked to the direct link. And when you publish it from your Power BI desktop, initially it is off, but it is going to be on after the first refresh, I think. So for the incremental refresh and partitioning, what does it mean? I think before doing that, I need to jump into the Power BI. Maybe it is better to jump into Power BI. And let me just look at the other stuff. Okay, yeah, cool. Let's just see what is actually what it does have for us. For the incremental refresh, as I mentioned, for the large data set that you've got, that it takes time, and that every time you don't want to load the whole data that you have, right? First of all, the data, actually, the storage mode that you need in place should be import mode. So import mode means, okay, the data has to be refreshed always, right? And you need an incremental refresh. How to implement that? We can just look at it in my Power BI, but you need to just configure some parameters, some reserved parameters, reserved names with range start and range end. That is working with the date and time, actually. And you can just configure the refresh policy, how it is going to, from what dates, and actually for how long of your data is going to be moved to archive section, and when it is going to be passed after that archive section, it is going to be just deleted, right? And it is going to just refresh the data based on those parameters, and which is basically like this, that your data, and the last part of that for the incremental refresh in the premium capacity, which my capacity of it is, I'm on trial of Fabric, so we cannot test it, but we can only implement it and see how it is working. It is going to make our hybrid table, right? The data is, let's say, imported in the green side. That is going to, in our archived section. Our incremental refresh is, let's say, is just loading the data for, the last 3 days, or 3 weeks or 3 months, whatever, that we are, configuring in our incremental refresh section. And since that data is loaded, of course, transactional data is, producing some new data, right? And since we don't want to miss that section, a direct query is going to be also, available to just make sure that the data that we are showing in our, incremental refresh table, in our hybrid table, is up to date always. We've got, the partitioning as well. That the partitioning is basically means, it is dividing your tables to the smaller segments, and that the smaller segment is mostly happening, in the date and year, let's say, based on the cardinality of the data that you have in your table. You can just define, the partitions, but in the incremental refresh, it is going to be happen. And even for those partitions, you can just refresh them on demand. You're not refreshing the whole data. It can be configured either in SSMS or tabular editor. We will have a look at that as well. Cool. Let me connect to my Power BI. And okay, I have to do something here. Just trying to bring it up. Okay, cool. So here, let me make sure that I have you all here. Okay. In the data, actually, sorry, in the Power BI, what we wanted to do. Yeah, sorry. So basically, it is, we are going to just let me create a new blank report here and work on a blank one. And let's see how it is going to work. What I want to do in the Power BI is connecting to a SQL server to import the data. It is Azure SQL Server to import the data and just make the relationship between them, then set the incremental refresh and just publish it to our model. I want to just get a data from SQL. I did have some sources before, but let me just get it. Oh, no, it is the data warehouse that I don't want. The Azure SQL, Azure SQL database. They have, let me just find it. I bring it up. Should get my server address quickly. Got the table here. So Fabric, Azure SQL Server dot database dot Windows.net, and my DB name is my DB. I'm gonna import. Here I can just specify if either I want to import or direct query, and if there is any SQL statement that I'm going to specify. But it is going to use my current credentials that I have. If it works, if not, I have to go to the okay. Oh, what's happening? I'm using the right password here. So let's wait for this one to be connected to database. Make sure that so give me a sec. Something is not right with this. SQL admin, not the Fabric admin. Yeah, it's wrong username. So now I've got my tables here. The tables that I'm going to use is the sales order details, sales order header, let's say, and or let's say only the sales order header and product and customer. These are the things that I want to just get for now. I can either transform them, do some transformations, but let's say for now we don't want it to be transformed, and only let's load the data. Let me just make sure about the date column firstly. No, we can go for the transformations quickly. Just make sure we have the right column types. We have the customer, which is fine. Let's go to the order header. For the order header, we have the date and time. That's good. We have the due dates. We have the ship date, which is also good. And yeah, I think we can just open it. It is going to be loaded, the data. I'm happy with the current status. However, later we can continue with the transformation of all those tables. But how many records it is going to be loaded? Yeah, it is not that much of the record. That's good. In the Power BI, you have different options, views. There's the report view. There is no report for us now. Is the table view that is just listing all of your tables. It is going to just show the tables that you've got for each of them, the column of them, And the sigma sec, sign that you see here is basically for those numeric columns that that are going to can be aggregated. And the thing is that we have the model view, and the good thing is that since it is coming from a SQL database, the relationships are basically they have been established, but it is one-to-one, and it is basically based on the data that is seeing and finding the relevant and corresponding column names. It is just identifying them. However, we can always, let's, for example, delete this relationship, and we want to create a new one. So we will have, the slides of the relationships and how we have them, but let's create them here as well. And one more thing, in order to see what is the type of the storage mode, it is import. If I have chosen the direct query, I had the option to change it to an import mode or dual, right? But since it is now import, it is not going to be changed. In the right side, I have the model and also the the tables. In the model, I can see all of the available items in a in my model, including the calculation groups, cultures, expressions, measures, perspectives, relationships. One of them just deleted, if any roles are there, and the tables. And so yeah, the first thing, and if we just over on that, it is showing us and the date that was refreshed, and also the storage mode, which is import. In order to create a relationship, from the top ribbon, we can find the manage relationship, and it is going to show us the existing relationships. But I'm going to create a new relationship between customers and sales header. And it is identifying, that each customer has only one, order, but we know that each customer can have more than one. However, my data set is not having, more than one order per customer. So I choose it as one to many. So there are other options. You can, say many to one. It is the thing related to the foreign keys and primary keys in the tables in transactional mode, or in the data warehouse even. But here we can just choose from one of these cardinalities. It is many to one to many, one to one. For example, for each customer and address, it can be one to one or one to many even, and also many to many, which is not really suggested, but there are some possible scenarios that we may have the many to many relationships. The cross filter direction means from one side you're filtering your report, your table, or it can be filtered from both sides. It is always better, I'm just giving you the best practices, but it really varies based on your scenarios and use cases. But the performance of the single is much better, than the both, or even in the cardinalities, one to one is the best. One to many, one to one basically means that you couldn't put the data from both tables in one because of lots of reasons. If it is a a common dimension or common table for to be used other places as well, but in terms of the performance, one to many is the best. Then it is going to be many to many. You can make this relationship active. What does it mean? It happens that we have more than one relationships between two tables. As an example, we have the date columns in this sales order header. Let's have a look at them. We have the due date, we have modified date, we have the order date, we have ship date, we have purchase date, we have the delivery date, let's say. But and all of them are going to be linked to our in relationship to our date table. So in that case, we need to just make that connection, make that relationship between our date table and this sales table. So only one of them can be active, but it doesn't mean we cannot create more. If we make one active, the other one is going to be inactive. But if we need to query the inactive one, we need to just say a use relationship in our DAX query that we have. But for now, let's make this as active. Just applying security filter in both directions. And the other one, assume referential integrity, is only available for the direct query. When we actually load our tables at the table as direct query, we are just assuming that the data in the source is integrated. And for example, if we have any customer ID in our sales table, of course we have a corresponding customer record in our customer table. So let's just create it, and it has been created between these two tables. So for we of course we need a date table always, and there are the the next sections that we are going to talk about. But let's firstly implement the incremental refresh, right? Before that, we need to firstly create the parameters, right? And it can be a field. The field, let's call it as sorry. Did I? Yeah. You need two fields, range start and oh, it is not here. Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. It is basically when you're doing the transformation of your data, right? For the sales header, I just mixed them up. Your transaction header, when you go for the transformation of the data, then here you're gonna create a your parameters from the managed parameters. You can just create a new parameter, call it range start. It's going to be required. The type of that is date, and let's say the current date is 2010 0101. And let's add another one. It is range in. That is also a date, and the current values is going to be today's date, for example, the 25. Okay, this is the first step that we do. The next one will be utilizing these two. How we go to the header, for example, where we are getting the data out from our source. That is going to be something like this. Let me just quickly bring it. So in here, if there's no enough space for you, you can just open it like this, and for the source, we can either go with the this code. Let me just copy the code, bring it in, and example here we are just okay, just give me a sec. Let me just quickly add the the script. Okay, yeah. Let's use this one. It's much better. And the database that we have was called MyDB. Yeah, MyDB. It's not. Maybe we can just add this filter instead. Okay, and here the start date can be other parameters, range start, and the end range ends. Okay, should be good, or still giving me the error. I'm missing something here. Why? or maybe the one that I'm going to add is going to be, I wanted to just directly do it, but the other thing, that of course we can do is go to this, custom filter. Is much easier maybe. For the custom filter, there's going to be a demonstration of this as well, that we say if the date time is after or equal to basically our we want to just find it, let me just find it here. I cannot find it. It's strange. In the custom filter, should be able to see those parameters. Let me just change them to the date, because yeah, that's it. So I just changed it to date, and from list of parameters we can range start, but it will be after or equal to. And for the next one we say and is before that range end. And it is it is basically the configuration that we add for specifying from when to when actually is going to load our data. The next step for us will be just right click on the table that we've got, and just click on the incremental refresh in your model or table, and you're gonna choose the table. The table has already been selected. The parameters are there. Oh, the parameters are there. It might not be saved. We have the parameters. Oh, it's not even saved yet. But yeah, let's save it. Gonna just create a new Power BI, not the projects, PBIX. Desktop semantic model, let's say, and save it. So once it is saved, let's just try it again for the incremental refresh. It's still not working. The parameters are there, and don't know why it is not getting those parameters. Hopefully the transformation, or it may be, just let me make sure the parameters are still in place. Yeah, they are. We have the range start and range end. Am I putting the right word for Yep, it should be good. Oh, the type of that should be, that is maybe why. I did not choose the right type. Okay. So let's go to the managing parameters, choose it as date time. And the other one, let's make it as date time as well. Okay, and in our header, we need to remove this change type. And it should be good now. Just apply. The incremental refresh is going to be, available when you are meeting all the, requirements. Hopefully it works for this time. Yeah, now it is available. Maybe it is a good opportunity for us to do it together to find the complexities sometimes. So set import and refresh range. We just choose it, and here we are basically defining the configuration and the policy of the incremental refresh. We choose when our data is going to be archived, right, before the refresh date. For example, let's say it is 5 years before the refresh date, right? So whatever data that we have, it is going to be archived here. And the incremental refresh data is going to be started, for example, for the last 1 day, and whatever that is added to my data in the transactional database or in my data warehouse since the last day is going to be refreshed. And here is the part that I was mentioning about, that only in the premium section is available that we are going to get the latest data in the real time with direct query, which is making your hybrid tables. And we can just choose only refresh the complete day. If it is in the midday, don't refresh it, right? Don't bring it in. And of course, it is going to just take the change data. But I say only the complete day, or don't add the complete day, and that's good. And in the bottom, we can see just some visual of that to review it, how long we are going to load the data for. But let's just add it for 3 days for the incremental refresh. So once it is done, we can just publish it to the our semantic fabric and Power BI service. But before that, I want to just walk you through some other stuffs. Let me just jump into my slides quickly. For the relationships, so we talked about the type of relationships in our in the Power BI, but the best practice and the always recommended type of the schema is the star schema. That when you are creating your model, it is better and to just follow the star schema as much as is possible for you. The star schema, as we mentioned, in the previous sessions, the fact table is in the middle, and we have the other dimensions that are linked basically to your fact table using their IDs. For example, in the fact table that we have now is the sales table. We've got the customer ID. We've got the city ID. And it is called also the dimensional modeling. And to understand and know the relationships, the model relationship better, the relationships are basically going to only select those records that are related to the selected items. For example, if you start from the the category of the products, we can say, hey, the total sales of this category of product, the category A, and for the product of the red color is this amount, or it was in that year for that specific product was in this amount. So we can combine the filtering using our relationships. For setting up the relationships, we talked about that. It can be one to many, one to one, or many to one. There are some DAX functions for the DAX. We will just talk about that a bit later. That there are different DAX functions. For example, for the related one, it is using the active basically relationship, or for the third one, for the use relationship, it is basically using inactive relationship that we talked about. Or even you can just look at the cross filter. The cross filter is doing the bidirectional relationship between two tables. For the inactive relationship, as I mentioned, for a table, we can have the different relationships between a date table and your sales table for the order date, ship date, and delivery date. And then based on that selected one, of course, your visual is going to be updated. Here is just an example of the DAX query that we will just talk about later a bit. About the relationships. I don't want to stay on the relationships more than this. About the measures and basically DAX query. Before, let me firstly jump into my portal and go to the semantic model that we just created in our portal. I'm not talking about the Power BI desktop one, but the first semantic model that we have created from our lakehouse. There is an opportunity here, an item here, that you can write your DAX queries. So you can write the DAX queries, in different sections. It can be on this, portal. It can be in the DAX studio that we will cover a bit later. But these are the available options. And what you can do are, just exploring what you have. For example, let's have a look at the tables that we've got here. For instance, the first of all, we are going to just use evaluate. Evaluate, the table name is basically giving us the a selection of the records in that table. We can even make it more let's see if it's going to return anything. Just bring up the cache. It's all loading all the records in the sales table. I'm not sure how many we've got. If you're coming from SQL background, evaluate fact cells, it's select start from fact cells table. But Yeah, it is actually it is consuming the memory and it is not loading everything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just say top n is top n number of that query, and the first one is just asking me for the number of records that it's going to bring back, and I'm just counting for 200 of them for now. And yeah, it's just giving me 200 of these guys. Or the other one can be evaluate sales fact we can just let's just leave it like this. You can just go for a calculation, or let's go with the select columns. The table that we are going to select is fact cell, and then we can go for the columns that we've got. As an example, sales key, and the date of that, right? The delivery date key, just as some examples. And on top of that, of course, we can go for, if we don't want to be out of the memory again, let's say top n number of these guys. You can just make it more complex and say evaluate just summarize of our table again, and let's say it is going to just grouping by, I can filter it. Sorry, it is grouping by. Let's just group it by city key, let's say, and then we can even go for a filter, or sorry. Oh, let's see. It is going to give us a aggregation of the number of them, basically. Or no, sorry, summarizing, just keeping the column name. And for evaluate again, we can just go for the calculate table, fact table. We can just filter, for example, I don't know what columns we've got here. The columns that we have are, let's just take the top 200 of them. We have, lots of something like the quantity, right? For example, let's say we want the quantity, the filter of fact cells, quantity equals to 8, and just summarize of total the profit of that. The profit. Am I? Very good. or am I still missing anything? I can close it. Yeah, all good. So we are filtering only for this quantity. Oh, seems nothing. Nothing is coming through. Yeah, anyway. I think I had a nice expression here. Even we can do some, just defining a, measure, in this DAX, querying, but it can be more, complex as you go over on this, on this one. So that's good enough for this one. I just wanted to show you how you can, create your DAX queries in semantic model itself, and you can, if even if you just define a measure, it is going to give you opportunity to create create that measure just and apply it to your model. Yeah. And for example, this one, total sale, as an example. And here we can just say, doesn't like it. We can just say some. Oh. Let me check my items here. Why? Doesn't work. Hopefully I can find it here. Yeah, I've got some here. So let me just take a copy of what I have from my previous items. Okay. It's going to, yeah, it's looking at another table that they've got in somewhere else, but giving us, maybe some idea of some examples. For example, for defining a measure, I'm going to just create it in my, let's say, fact. It is fact cell, and it is, let's call it as total cell. And here I've got my fact cell again, and let's say the fact cell, we should have something like quantity, and that quantity is going to be, I don't know, do we have something like a unit price? Yeah. Let's see, does it work? The connection has been dropped. There's no fact cells, this fact cell. And this total cell should be good. Now it is just giving me this, and it is just giving me the opportunity to just update my model with adding this new measure. And even for this question from Ashkan, can we have 2 or more fact tables in our model? Yeah, of course you can do that, but it is not recommended. It depends on your use cases if you want to have more than one fact table in your model. But it is always better to keep your model as light as possible. And if we go with that second fact table, it is going to basically have a galaxy of the stars, right? Maybe it is not going to be pure star schema. But yeah, it really up to you, and based on the thing that you have. So yeah, the other example that we can use can be some filtering. So here I don't have any products. Let's have for summarized columns. We have done it above for this one, but it can be just having something like this to give us this total sale. Let me just go for the fact cell and fact cell and fact cell quantity. If the quantity is more than 3, for example, it is going to use this total cell. What is the total cell? We just created this as a measure in this table, right? And it is going to just only use that one, right? So we can have the measures or the value cannot be determined. Let me just bring it in together and execute it the same at the same time. And maybe we can show you something else as well, which is nice also. As you can see in this selected execution, I have 2 evaluate statements. One evaluate is only showing my measure, only the measure. The other one is basically ordering that. It is again. Let me just find it quickly. Where is I want to just here I want to say fact cell. Let's say by the city key. I don't have it, and it is hopefully it's going to work. And yeah, cool. As you can see, I have executed in actually 2 evaluate statements. One evaluate is only one row of my let me just find it, of my measure, and the other one is the evaluation of the summarized columns, right? That it is basically 2 results, and here you can see just 2 result sets here. Result 1 is showing that the measure value. The other one is the measure value, but this time is grouped by the city key that I have here. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to dig more here. Let's back to our slides. Hopefully I didn't miss anything there. So we just wrote some DAX, and we did query our semantic model, the tables that are there. However, the semantic model that we covered, we explored is a direct lake one that is looking at the data in our lake house. But what is the DAX? DAX is a data analysis expression that we can create measures. We can query the data in semantic model. We can create new table. We can create new column, or even creating the quick measures from your visuals. When you are in the report mode. There are the library of functions and operations for sure that we used some of them. And you can just build formulas and expressions there, and as I mentioned, you can create these objects. In order to create measure, we will be back to the Power BI again, but we can just define it. And it is the good thing about the measures is that they are going to be computed on fly, and there will be less a performance impact on your model in comparison with the calculated columns. I will let you know what the calculated columns are. And they are responsive to interactions. For example, if you have a selected city or selected filter in whatever, that value of the measure is going to be just up and down. It can keep the filters basically. And when you add it, it is going to be just indicated by a calculator icon. We will create it quickly. And about the filtering, as I mentioned, you can just create the filters based on your basically dimension tables that are in relationship with your fact table. So yeah, let me just back to our yeah, cool. In the Power BI semantic model, what we need to do, I want to just create some tables, calculated tables or tables, and some measures, and see what are the the features there for us. First of all, we have the header. In the header column, actually in the header table, we can just have a look at the table here, how it does look like, and what are the fields that we can play with them, right? It doesn't show anything because maybe because of the refreshment. Let me just refresh it quickly, because we have done some changes for the incremental load. It should not have the latest data. So let's refresh it quickly. But in the meantime, we can back to here. Let's see what we have to discuss. We have the basically the functions that we can use in our in the DAX language to create our measures. For example, one of the measures that we can create is using the calculate function. The calculate function is just don't look at its name, but it is basically going to give you the opportunity to just summarize your data, to just aggregate your data based on some filters. For example, here it is just summarizing the total price, but for the year of 2015, and from its name you can just look at total sales for 2015. What does it mean? It means that even if you choose another filter, right, in your query. For example, you have chosen 2025 or the current cell, right, current total cell, but you always want to have the cells for 2015 to be shown somewhere, right, regardless of what filter you have chosen in your slicers. So it is very good, feature for this one. The there are some measures that are semi-additive, that sometimes they make sense to summarize them. For example, for the quantity, we cannot, summarize all of the quantities in one table of the cells. It doesn't make sense. For example, the quantity of sold pen, or it cannot be, added to the quantity of the books that you sold, right? So these are, the semi, additive measures that we've got there, and where it makes sense, we do the aggregation for. Where it does not, we don't do that. And the what else? Or there are other type of the maybe semi-additive ones. For example, for the fields that we have for the as the keys, like city key, it is an integer, but you see a sigma there. It doesn't make sense to summarize, the values there, but it does make sense to count them against a against another filter, or you want to just count them. In order to, of course, a semantic model is nothing if we don't have it actually is senseless if we don't have any date table in it. So we're going to create a date table together. Usually everyone just disable the auto date time creation in Power BI. We will do that. I just want to see what are the other stuffs, other decks that we have. So we have the time intelligence functions that we can use when we are creating our measures. For example, it is just giving us the total sales for the previous month. There are some time intelligence functions for the previous month, for year of year, or year to date. There are different stuffs. And for this one, for example, as an example, it is showing us the for 2015, the previous month was 39,000, and as you can see, it is visible here. In our semantic model, we can create the calculated columns. That those calculated columns are basically going to be stored in our model if it is in import mode, right? But those calculated columns are going to be applied per row. So if we can have something like measures, it is really more recommended than the calculated columns. It is useful for when you want to connect the columns together. For example, if you want to use it in a dimension table, for example, you have, let's say, first name and last name of a customer. So then you want to connect them, or you have the product category in the higher level in your dimension tables and the product name, but you want to just link, concatenate these two together. That makes sense. For the calculated columns, I recommend to use them in the dimension tables. But for the fact tables, when you want to do the aggregation, it is better to go with the measures. However, there are some functions, iterator functions in DAX that you can just calculate per row, which is also not recommended for the large data models. In your semantic model, you can create the calculated tables. But one of them is going to be the date table that you are going to create in a bit. It is kind of a calculated tables. It is, or even you can just calculate it from another table to somewhere else. For example, you want only one table for the year of 2015 sales. That's it, right? So then you can just calculate it and load it there. And they know the icon of your table, and actually calculator is going to be on your table. A comparison between the calculated columns and measures, as I mentioned, calculated columns is going to just create values for each row in a table. Measures calculate on demand, and it is going to be calculated on fly. The calculated columns, it is storing the value in our PBIX, but that one is just calculated based on the filter that you are applying. The calculated column is increasing the file size, the model size, the measure doesn't, and that one is row by row calculation can impact the performance, but the DAX expression may still be so optimal. And the calculated column, if you use it in your fact table, it has to be referenced with your measure. But the measures can reference another measure. These are the nice things about the measure. So let's go to our desktop again. One thing, firstly, let's have a new table. The table that I want to create is the date table. Let me get the script that I've got for this. If I can find it, I had it here, I think, yeah. Don't have to write it. So, did I click on it? Yeah, just new table. When you click on the new table, it is going to just show the, the expression here that you can just use your own table. And here is a nice, function calendar auto is going to just create it. And I've added actually some other fields here. We have the date. Yeah, that's good. And then just let's save it. When we save it, the table is going to be created here, like date table. And let's just close this guy, and we can have a look at the data, how the data has been loaded, in a second for this guy. And the data has been loaded automatically, but based on the data that I have in my tables here. However, I can give it the exact date that I want in my calendar. However, let's keep it to this, and let's go back to our model and create the relationships between these two tables. So the table is going to be my date table, and the other one, let's have it for the header. And for header, it is going to be this date. And for header, I have the due date, for example, or I want it for the order date. It is one by one. I want to say one to many and make it active. Hopefully it is going to work. And we can also add another one with the same column on the header, and this time I'm going to just show you as ship date. And as you can see, automatically this one is unselected, right? And if we make it selected, it is going to give us the warning here. There are ambiguous paths between these two, so I'm not going to make it as active. And it is going to just look like this, that one of those lines are going to be dashed like this, as just showing as inactive, basically relationship. So I'm not sure if still my data is not showing there, because, oh, remember, in the incremental load that I created for that table, I mentioned about some years to be archived, and the data that I had in that table goes back to 2002. So let's make it as 30 years, to be archived, and then load the data. Maybe that is why it is not showing my records. So let's see how many records have been loaded for my header table. Nothing still. Oh, interesting. There might be some issues with the load. I want to just check. Let's switch it off for now and do another refreshment and see if it is the default value for this one. I think there is a problem here. Let me just check. For the transformation, I wish I could just change the parameters. Let me just check the parameters that I've got. Yeah, that is why. Let's say from 2000. Just yeah, something returned seems. Yeah, but only 32. Only 32, which is a bit weird. I have short data here. It is coming from here. And data transformation, let me just check what we have chosen here. And let's just ignore this filtering for now. I want to make sure we have enough data when it's only 32. Okay, that's good. Okay, if it is only 32, that's good. The order date is only for 2008. That I wanted really more data. Check. Interesting. Only the data is for 2008. Cool. Let's stick to the plan that we have. So we have created the date table. Let's just put some visuals here. For example, a bar chart. Just I don't want the stacked one. A simple chart. And the header table that I've got. I want the I want something here. That's total do. The total do is here, and let's just filter it by the product. But it is not something right. I'm not sure if the product is, yeah, it should use the same product for all of them, but I want to have the customers here now. But for the customers, maybe we can just go with the year instead of customer, for the day even. For the weekday, there's only Sunday, only one day we had. Shouldn't be this. No, unfortunately, our data model is not good enough. All of them are in the same day. The order date that we have. I wanted some more data, to be honest. Let me check why this data is not giving me the full. Quickly checking source of the data. Sales header, see. Yeah, unfortunately, it is the only available things in the source data. That's good. Just wanted to show you some nice stuffs, but we have shown the date table, how to create it, and how it is working with the columns that we've got, with the functions that we have. On the other side, we can create some measures, and let's just add one measure for the table of sales header, and let's call it total do, let's say, is going to just summarize of my total do, right? That's it. And it can be more complex. It can be filtered, as we mentioned in the slides. But if we go to the table view, the icon of that is going to be something like this. And even we can add the new columns, and the new column is only active for the import mode tables. What else I wanted to talk about? However, we can just publish this model. Let's say it is all good. And of course, we are going to save it before publishing. In order to publish, it is going to ask us in what workspace you want to publish it. I choose the DP-600 Fabric database that we've got. And with the name of desktop with the name of desktop semantic model. We will see that in a bit in our Fabric portal. No, we can just be more complex in our DAX statements. It can be, it can be just using the variables. So it is very important that you utilize the variables when you are writing your DAX queries. Just as an example here, in the top section without a variable, for example, it is just calculating the parallel period. Parallel period is one of those time intelligence functions that we've got. For example, it is going to just calculate the cells for the last year, right? And you're gonna again utilize it for dividing, right? You just want to divide today's cells minus the previous year and divide it to the past year. So it is just comparing with what happened in the past year. As you can see, twice we are calling the same function, which is not ideal, right? We are just putting unnecessary pressure on our engine and on our model. Instead, we use the variables. So the first variable could be something like this: cells per year. We are just calculating that, putting that in a variable. Then we are going to utilize it, and 100 times we can just reference it. It is only one time calculated. It is very important to make use of the variables. The other thing that is basically has the performance impact on your DAX queries is the iterator functions. The iterator functions are basically identical with the X. For example, for sum is sum X or average X. What does it mean? It is basically calculating something in the row level when it is just reading your your data, and it is not really recommended for the large data because it is going to just explore every single record. An example of that is like this, that you can just, you cannot see it, sorry. Yeah, it's going to be something like this, that, you're summarizing, from the sales table, the quantity multiple to, sales minus the cost. So just imagine what will be happen if you have 300 million records, right? It is going to just row by row to calculate this. Instead, we can go with the, other, workarounds. One of the workarounds would be, just calculate it in the source before you bring it to your, model. Then you can have just better understanding of it, or before, even in the data transformation section. For the table filtering function, you can just, it is also, one of those iterations, but you can calculate a table, right, by just a year, just only getting the data for that specific year, right? The fiscal year, I mean. So for the some functions are called windowing functions. Windowing functions are basically calculating the values in a specific window. For example, one of those, one of the functions that we use is offset. Offset is just going up and down the records that you have in your result set, right? For example, for here, it is the you have the sum of cells, but offset -1 means just read the data from the previous record, which is for example, for the previous year, and it is needs an order. It is ordering by the year and as ascending. It is useful for ranking and running totals. Running the totals of your QuickBooks, right? For just getting a total of everything. And there are some information functions in DAX that is going to give you true and false. They can be used in your if statements. For example, if the category has any value, then do this. So we have the if statement when we are creating our calculated columns, for example. Here it is just, the measure even. It is just checking if any value is for category, then just summarize it. If not, just let's make it as blank. Okay, let's check if our the semantic model has been published to our Power BI, and we can just go and check it and see how it does look like in the portal. In our portal, we can go to the thing that we have. Just remember, we have created one visual in the report. So a new report like this and a semantic model has been pushed. But when we go inside it, we cannot refresh it. There is a data there because the data has been pushed using the PBIX, but the data is not refreshed. And if we go for the refresh of the data, it should fail basically because the data connections are not set up. Let's go for the refresh now. It is going to give us the error, and here it is because of the missing credentials. So what we do is basically we can just go to the setting of this model, right? That is brought here, and there is a connection, the gateway, that we need to create it. Previously, I think I have created one. However, just create a new connection, but I already have one, and it is going to be applied to this gateway and cloud connection. If you're using an on-prem data source, so you're gonna need a gateway and to just set up. So it seems it is good now, and we can just back to our this one, and now try to refresh our data in the semantic model. Hopefully we can finish it in time. Okay, while it is busy loading, let's go back to our slides. We have the some other type of the calculations, the dynamic calculations that we can create the calculation group where in the let me just show you here if it loads. If not, even we can do that in both in the this is still loading. Okay, we can go for the refresh. While it is refreshing, I think we cannot open the semantic model. let's open it. Yeah. So when we open the semantic model, we can just add a calculation group. But when you add a calculation group, it is going to give you a warning, right? That adding a calculation group is going to just disable and ignore all of these, aggregations that the model has been created for you, right? We didn't add any calculation for example, order quantity, right? But by itself, it has a sigma next to that, and it means it is just summarized by sum, for example. Or even we can change it. We can change it in the model and just customize this summarize that we need, the default summarize that we need for showing that data. So if we go with the calculation group, it is going to just disable all of them. And if you need more, you need to create them yourself. But it is very useful for reusable calculations across the other measures. Like it is mostly using for the time intelligence ones that basically, for example, you want a data to be calculated for the year to date, month to date, quarter to date, and just see everything in one place. It is very good feature to add to your model. But we need to you need to just keep in mind it is going to disable all of those built-in stuffs. It's going to do something like this. For example, for a year, you can have different ones. And in order to just make it more dynamic, it can be just parameterized when we are pushing the data in, which is going to use the field parameters. The field parameters is basically the input parameter for your from your visuals to the the measures that you're gonna have. A single item that can be used in a visual, which includes multiple fields. You can use it in a slicer and just switch in between the fields, for example, just counting per category or color or products. We have the dynamic format string that is mostly useful for when you want to just having some signs or figures in your text, the strings that you want to show. For example, one of them is the formatting sales figures. For example, if it is a million, instead of 1 and 6 zeros, you can just say 1M, right? Or if it is K, it is 1,000, you can just say 1,000K or 1 million. And it is going to be nothing than a calculation, a switch function, basically that is just choosing in between them and just giving it a format. The format is also a function that is getting as an input, is getting the value that you're passing, and the measure that you're passing to, and just adding that format to it. And we have in the switch, we have, if it is more than 1 million, that's just add M at the end of that. If it is more than 1,000, just add K. And if there's going to be a starter from top, when it sees, actually it matches the first row of the conditions, then it is just a stop going down. Is one of the examples that we've got here. For example, if it is only is one less than a million, it is going to get a K, and if it is more, it's going to be M, and so on and so forth. So I think, yeah, we've got the stuffs here. I don't want to miss anything. One more thing that we need to consider is optimizing Power BI solutions, or the whole optimization. When we talk about the optimizations, we think from the source to the visualization and to the whole network and resources that we are using for our analytical solution. So the data is going to be started from a source. We'll get the data, we filter that data, and then we are doing the data transformation, doing the data modeling, creating the visuals, and then all of them are running within an environment and within a network of the data, right? So we should think about all of these guys. For example, when we are talking about the data sources, how to optimize them, just try to have the best practices for the upstreams, as we discussed. In the data modeling, just think about whatever best practices that are applicable in the data modeling. Or for the visuals, we are not going to put hundreds of visuals in one page, so it should be in an acceptable and normal number of visuals. And also the whole data that we are moving in between the systems, or the resources that we are using are important, and that we need to just consider when we are designing the whole analytical solution. There are some tools to just do the analyze in the performance. Some of them are in the Power BI desktop, and similar things are available in our semantic model page in Fabric. But the first one is the performance analyzer. There you can just check the your record iterations, review. You can just review the query and count, just monitoring the rendering times. You can identify the bottlenecks and optimize your queries. It is very important that you identify the bottleneck and just find where you can make it better. One of those things that we discussed before was the iteration functions. For you're not going to use some X for the large tables. Instead, we go to the source and create some of those transformations. Then usually simply we use the sum function. For example, here it is for as an example, it is just using the filter, and the other one is keeping the filter, right? Keep filters, whatever filters that are in the in your slicers. If but it doesn't have to go to calculate it and then and then filter it. Firstly, do the filter that it is doing, and then adding all of those filters to the calculations, right? Yeah. So let's go to the report that we have, for example, here. And then in the report, we can just look at the optimize, for example. And let's say we have performance analyzer. And we can just say start recording. And when we do refresh our visuals, it is going to just show us how long it did take time. It was a DAX query. It was 0. We have actually a small set of data. So it is not a big thing. However, we can just run the query behind that in the DAX query instead, right? Cool. It's going to open the DAX query for me, or yeah, it is just it brought that DAX query for me. It's been executed. If we go to the visuals again, some of the total do is just giving us some information about the the visuals that are making the query and just going back. And for example, if we add a filter here, like let's add the filter of customer company, then not here in the X, then let's refresh it. It's going to change a filter. Some of them has been a bit, you see, one DAX query has been executed, and sorry, the DAX query was executed in 1 millisecond, and like this. And this one took longer when we added just refresh that, right? With refreshing, it took longer. So yeah, these are just some performance analyzing that you can look at. But in parallel, we have a feature in Fabric that you can also look at the best practice analyzer, memory analyzer, and community notebooks. For the best practice analyzer, it is basically it's going to start a notebook for us, and it is going to look at the model and comparing with the best practices in the industry, and which is written by the experts in the industry, and it is going to then just give us these are the things that you can make better. For example, instead of having the date table like this, do this, right? So this one also takes time to initiate initiate that. That's good. Then it is just using the semantic Python library, and we are giving it the data set that we've got. The data set is basically the semantic model name that we've got, and in what workspace. So yeah, it's going to give us some information in that regard. Let's back to, hopefully this is going to be finished soon. Yep, lots of considerations, right? And the calculated columns, for example. And if you actually click on that link, it says, the column reference should be fully qualified, in the calculated columns that we are, creating. And it is going to just give you an example and some, tips and tricks to get used, actually, and use them. Or even for the relationship, it is not a, a severe thing, but it is just also a warning that we are aware that for that relationship we made it as inactive. That it says if the relationships is inactive, are you going to use that just as a warning? or for even for divide function for division, just use this one instead of slash for dividing. Yeah, some good stuffs here. Let's back to the slides. There's always good to have the templated things in Power BI and Power BI assets when we want to create basically the projects. So one of them is a specialized semantic models. So it is recommended that when you are working in a team and you want to collaborate with others and you want to have some master things and some assets for your organization, it is good to create a core semantic model with some specific tables that can be used, can be reused actually for the other models, or they can be developed even in the future. So it is good to just create a blank Power BI semantic model and just publish it. Then afterward, it is going to just make use of those semantic models for the just creating their reports or expanding those models. The other thing is Power BI templates or PBIT files that you can create a template for your Power BI, and basically there's going to be a Power BI file that has all the visuals, models, measures, whatever that you have. Then you can just make a template of that and use it several times for the next the developments that you have. And the other one is the Power BI data source that you can just export your existing data source or creating it from scratch just by following some rules of the JSON language to create your this data source file. Let's just quickly cover them. Let's stop this guy. It's just okay. The first thing is Power BI template that you can just save as when you just save it, you can just give it a name, and here simply just use this template files, and it can be let's say template, and a template has been created here. You can just add a description. This template is used for this and that. Or the other thing that you can just choose is the BPIP, which is the project files. Let's just talk about that one a bit later, but yeah, let's create a new one maybe. Or yeah, let's create it. Let me just show you the slides quickly. We have the Power BI projects that you can just manage the assets of actually the files on the text editor, that where you can open it in your Visual Studio Code, and it is the opportunity that you can make a CI/CD with your just use it in the Git control, and just following the the CI/CD principles. So it is very easy to do, but for sure it is in preview, and you need to activate it. In order to activate that, I will let you know. But in order to save it, the same thing, save as with PBIP, then just OK. and it is going to open it for us like this. And what you can do, you can just go to the folder that is keeping the files for that one. Don't look at these two, but these are the files related to your report and semantic model. For example, for each semantic model, we have the definitions, we have the list of tables. For each of the tables that we have created, there's a TMDL script. The TMDL script is like here. For each of the tables that we've got, it is another view actually of the Power BI desktop that was added recently. We have the TMDL, and we can just drag and drop the table, and it is going to just show you the definition of your table. And basically, when you just do a change here, for example, if you want to do a find and replace, or I don't know, just adding some files, or doing some other modifications. Once it is there, then you can apply it to your model. Even you can just have everything in one place by choosing all of these guys together, and then put it in your TMDL view, and all of the tables now are available here together. That's it. And in order to activate that Power BI project one, you go to the options. In the options, you can just find preview features. In the preview features, you can just find Power BI project save option, if it is going to be available for us. And the other thing, while we are in the options, basically it is not recommended to use the built-in date table from Power BI when you load the data. So in the data load, just keep in mind that always make it off. I didn't for the new files. No, it was existing ones, but you can just switch it off always. Cool, and let's save it. And one more thing, for the data sources, if you go to the options and settings, for the data source settings, here you can see the source that we have used, and here you can just export the PBIDS as your file, and how it does look like. Once it is saved, we can just have a look at that. Here is our PBIX. Here it is, the file. It can be opened directly in the Power BI desktop, or even if we open it in Notepad, it is going to give us a JSON that just the URL of the server that I use, the database, and if there, of course, the authentication is going to be null, because it has to be specified once you are going to open it. Cool. Yeah, for that Power BI project, just a quick thing. On the Power BI project, you can always go with the just close this guy, close this guy. In the VS Code, for example, you can access your a Power BI project, and from there you can complete open soon. Not responding. It's very simple. That it is, you have the text editor. If there's any changes, you can, of course, identify those changes in your folder. I have actually opened it before in the Fabric Café folder, and a new folder just added for Power BI X, PBI X, and I can see the reports. And if I go to my Git syncing, I can see some of them have been added recently, and I can just commit them to my repository. It is good for when you are working as a team, or even yourself, to just have the versions of your data. Cool. Let's go back to, and here you can just manage it. The deployment models, the deployment pipelines, deployment pipelines are the way that we do the CI/CD in, it is part of the CI/CD in Fabric, actually, and in the whole software industry, actually, that it is going to track the changes across Fabric workspaces. That supports most of the Fabric items, and those can be customized for this one. How to create it? Basically, you need to have the workplaces firstly, right? Let's say we have now DP-600 Fabric database. I want to create another workspace. Let's say DP-600 Fabric database production, right? Or test, right? And let's apply it. The intention of this deployment pipeline is pushing whatever that we have in whatever that we want actually in our workspace A to workspace B. That is basically some sort of the deployments. So in order to create that, I'm coming to my basically the source pipeline, and I call it deploy to test. Let's say you can give it a something, but here the default deployment pipeline is from development to test and then to production. But I'm going to delete the production for now, and now I need to just create and continue, then assign the workspaces that they have. For example, here my workspace is database, and the test is basically my test environment. Once I make this relationship between these two, make this linking, it is going to identify the changes, what I'm going to push into my destination. So it is very simple that I can choose all and just say, hey, deploy everything for me, right? It is going to just deploy everything to the it may fail because in one of them, I think I have SQL Server, SQL database. If I don't have SQL database, that should be good. Yeah, it is good. Cool. It takes time, for the first time for sure, for this deployment, but let it go. Let's back to for the endorsement. We have discussed that previous week, and explore with lineage view. In your workspace, you can have two types of views, right? Let's go to the workspace that we've got. You can have two types of views. Type 1 is the default one, which is the list, like this. You can just see them as a list. But in the other side, you can just see them as a lineage, right? In the lineage, you can see the relationship between the components that you have in your fabric. For example, here, if I look at the, for example, the desktop model that we just, deployed, actually published, is this one. It is the model, the report that is linked to that, and the source of that SQL server, that this Azure SQL that I, was reading the data from. And if you can see, there is a field here called, impact, show impact across workspaces. What does it mean? It means that if I do any change on this item, what will be the impact of that? The impacted child items itself, this, and the report, right? And what workspaces that are going to be involved. And here, for example, for this one, for this semantic model, it is going to just giving me one, impacted item. So it's good to just check what are the downstream impacts when I basically doing some changes. It should be for downstream items, not upstream items. One of the features in semantic models and the Power BI service or Fabric is, sorry, let me think. Sorry, let me just find it. Charger. How long we've been live? No, it's almost 3 hours. Yeah, I told you it is going to be a long one. There is an endpoint called XML endpoint, which is XML Analytics endpoint for Power BI that you can do basically two main things. One is reading the data from your model, just looking at what you have in your model, the tables, the basically the all the components, measures, relationships, roles, and whatever that you have. And then the other thing is that you can update them and push the data to your server, to your model in the service. It is just that endpoint is basically kind of connection to the tools that we can do the working on your model. So one of the tools that we can use is tabular editor. That for this one, I go to my Windows again. Let me open my tabular. Where's my tabular editor? In the tabular editor, it is going to require a connection string or the URL. That URL mine. Oh, it is not. Yeah, it is. It is the URL, the Power BI API URL that it is going to be linked to the your workspace. And I'm going to connect with my multi-factor authentication. Once it is connected, where you can just choose the semantic model that you want to just get the data from, and if you want to do some changes on that, right? Not sure if there is any limitations of the live session. Hopefully everything goes well. But the number, actually, the semantic models that we've got here, and I want to just look at this desktop semantic model that we have created together. And from here, it is just showing whatever that you were seeing in the model view in Power BI, except for some stuffs like for example, in the table, when you have your table, you can see the partition section that you can create a new partition, or even you can create a new relationship here. If you want to create a new relationship, it is going to just coming from what table, from what column, what type of the cardinality I want, and to which column. And it is, as I mentioned, if you can read them, but if you want to write them back to your model, you need the premium capacity. So with my trial one is not going to work, but of course you can create the roles, and then if you just save it it is going to just back to your model. Even with this I think you can still do that. Let me create a role, for example, DB, or let's say managers, marketing, and if we save it, we can check if I think it is working. Not complaining about the yeah, failed to save that. Yeah, it is because of the permissions that we've got. Cool. I think so. Let me just check the it is complaining about the relationship that I just created here. Is it this or this? This one. None to none. I don't want to have it. Then let's save it. Yeah, exactly. You see, please set the permissions for your row level security to read. There's another thing. That's a story. Nice story. When we are creating the roles from this tabular editor, this to change the row level security to only read. Do I have to specify, or something here come up? This annotations should be in the annotations. No. Model permission. Yeah, it should be read. I set it to none. It was the default. Yeah, I was hoping the default works, but hopefully it goes to our model. Yeah, save. And then we can just check it in our portal to see if this guy has been sent. The desktop semantic model. Is it? It is the test. And by the way, our deployment has been completed in the test. We can just check that now as well. Let's go to this one, and when we open it, we should see the role that we have created there. So it seems the capacity is working as expected. And if we go to the model, yeah, we can see the role here. So by the way, role is nothing special. It is used for the security, and I think in the slides we are going to talk about that as well. So yeah, it was just for the XMLA to see how the tabular editor is working. So enforcing semantic model security, we need to know, we need to actually keep in mind that security, of course, is important, right? If especially if is there any about the tabular editor? Of course, the tabular editor site itself has I think has the enough resources to learn from. But if I find something useful, I will share it later after this session for sure. For the security in Power BI, it comes in different phases, right? It can be object, or it can be the row. The row level can be just managed by the roles that we had, and we will just check how we can create it, right? We can create, for example, what was that? Did I miss anything? No, we discussed about. Yeah, basically for if when we use the import mode, or even for the direct query, the roles are going to work. However, if something if, for example, a row level security has been done in the direct in the source that we are reading the data, that we are not loading that into our model, like the data warehouse or a lakehouse. If there is any established security, then the direct lake is not working, and direct query is in place for those tables. Just keep in mind where the direct query is going to be utilized instead of direct lake. Where we create the roles, naming them, and just giving them some conditions. For example, the cells, users only just look at the sales records or the marketing records. And then we can just assign the people to those roles. How we can just do that quickly? Let's have a look at it. We can have a look at the manage roles for this one, for marketing, that we have added in our tabular editor. We can just give it a thing. For example, if the customer, the company name equals to 1 and 2, 3, something like that. And it can be more than one rules that we are setting for each role. And it can be set that if all these conditions are going to be applied, or any of them is met, then this user that is part of this role can access the records in your model. And here you can just assign your members from your organization to each role that you have created. However, you can just switch it to DAX editor as well. And there are some tips and tricks for applying good modeling practices, the best practices, let's say. Fewer semantic models with well-designed roles. Fewer roles by using dynamic rules. When you're just defining the roles, just keep in mind basically create the rules filter on the dimension tables instead of fact table, like I did for the customer. Only for this company, for example, they can see the records. What else? We can just test all of those roles and using the same credentials. There are some items that I want to just show you. One of them is the downstream impact analysis that we covered. Two of them are related to the One Lake. One of them is the One Lake catalog. The One Lake catalog is something which is available. Let me go to portal. Yeah, that's good. We have it here as well. The One Lake catalog is containing all of the basically delta tables and all of the storages that we have in our One Lake. It is in different sections, right? For example, I can filter them on the workspace. For example, the workspace that they have for this, it can be sorry. It can be actually found here. You've got lake house, warehouse, SQL analytics endpoint, and even semantic models that we've added. We can have this endorsements, and here we've got the opportunity to just from here just the link to that item, or I didn't want to open it. So while this one is thinking, okay, cool. So in our One Lake catalog, we can just click on one of these guys. Let me go to the DP-600 days and desktop model service that I have. Then I can see the tables that I have here. I can see its lineage, where it is basically related to the other items, the downstream and upstream items of that model. In the monitor section, we can see the execution actually of the refreshments, the refresh history for the OneDrive, the Direct Lake, if it applies, or even we can have the One Lake that I will show you how to set it up, and also the permissions if the semantic model is going to be shared with others, that I showed you how you can share it. Even you can start exploring that data. If you want to explore the data, you can just add them something here, and that exploration can be saved as part of your in your workspace. That, and even it can be shared with your peers if you want to just show them to your peers. And here it is the item that the exploration type of exploration has been added here. It is going to just directly put you in the stage where you have done all of your agreements and aggregations, or the criteria and the conditions on your records. And you can just share your exploration with your friends and with your team, and even you can create the visuals on top of that. Yeah, and the other thing was that in the One Lake catalog, I mentioned about one thing about the One Lake integration. So There is a feature for your semantic models that you can write your data directly as a delta table in your OneLake, and it is going to be just and of course it is only available for the import mode, import storage mode. So and this one is going to be only applicable to those models that at least have one import mode table. And you can just apply that, and once it is going to be refreshed and it's going to be written to your OneLake storage, then it is going to be shown in your here, like this in monitor. If you look at this monitor, now the OneLake integration has been added. And even from here, you can just do a refreshment, and all of these guys are going to be refreshed. Yeah, it is just exploration of the OneLake catalog. You can just take your time for other items. They are the similar things, but you can of course explore your data or where it makes sense, and just looking at the tables that you've got, for example, for your lake house, and look at the lineage like what we did, and again explore this data and save it somewhere. Cool. Let's back to one more thing for your model. For the basically for the OneLake catalog, you can, from one side you can explore that, and from the other side you can add the data basically at the tables to your model. When you add the data lake, OneLake catalog, something from your OneLake catalog, then you are basically the lake house, for example, this lake house. Let me just make sure. Yeah, this one. You're adding a direct lake table in your model. So from this one, for example, I want to only look at the stock market, right? And just bring it in. When I bring it in, I'm not loading anything. It is going to be the direct lake, in the direct lake mode. So let's see if it is going to be loaded. While it is busy, we discovered the OneLake catalog. We looked at the OneLake integration. That's good. And so finally we are heading to the real-time intelligence, and it is the last section of our stops. I'm just waiting for this one to be completed. While this one is, you have to wait for this. Guys, aren't you tired yet? We may have more, maybe 10-15 minutes to just wrap it up. Bear with me for the surprise. Cool. In the chat, just let me know. Have you registered for? Have you just written for the exam yet or not? And are you planning for the DP-700 as well? While this guy is loading. It's super slow. I don't like it. Maybe something is wrong with my network. It shouldn't take that long. No, it is not a big table. Yeah, it takes that, take long really. You want to wait for this. And yeah, and just one more thing while we're on it. Just let's have a look at the view, pipeline, deployment pipeline. That, as you can see, it is successfully deployed. And if we look at this, it is our new, workspace that has all the items that we have brought from the previous one. Even in the here it is just identifying the changes. If there was any changes, if there is any changes, it is going to be identified here, and then we can just move it forward. Okay, cool. Let's go to the real-time intelligence. Real-time intelligence is, let's just talk about the non-real-time one. So far, whatever that we discussed was the batch processing, right? For the batch processing, and we're loading the data from somewhere, from a source, transform them, and it might be, just some sort of incremental load. We have done a refresh. It can be coming from a database. We were only extracting the data for a specific period of time. For example, for that incremental refresh, we only configured that for the completed days and not for everything. But on the other side, we have the real-time analysis, right? Real-time intelligence. That in Fabric, we have this real-time hub, right? That is basically is gathering the things related to the real-time streaming of the data. That data is streaming from some data sources that are available from Cosmos DB, from Azure SQL, from your the endpoints that just are streaming some of the, and that stream data is are basically time series time series data that are very important for the organization. And in the real time, we have to see them, and we have to just do an action when we see a pattern, when we see an animal thing in that data. So the data is going to be streamed using the event stream. Then it can be transformed, and it can be loaded to the destinations like event house or a warehouse or lake house. Then even at the same time, if we see any anomaly on that data, we can just use the act and just do something afterward. In between, we can have access to the KQL query sets. That is basically a Custo query language that we use for querying our event house or KQL database. And on the other side, we have real-time dashboard that is going to be used, based on the data that we have in our event house. And as a total, Power BI also can make the data from that, and the whole thing is in the real-time hub. The KQL, which is the thing that we are going to discover, is basically used for the discover pattern, right? It is very useful for the large, scanning the large data sets. And as I mentioned, it is it is exploring to identify the anomaly and outlets, or create statistical modeling. It is case sensitive for everything, even for the table names, the table column names, operators, functions, and so on. it is, it is not only related to the event stream in Fabric. It is, widely used in Azure for the log queries, and the Microsoft Sentinel, Azure Data Explorer, and this real time in Fabric. The in order to use that, let's firstly create a one event stream in the portal. Then we can talk about the KQL itself. Cool. Let's wipe it out. I'm gonna close this test and go to my workspace. So in the workspace, we can create the item from here, from the event stream, or even we can go to our real-time hub. You can just get a tour there, or just directly get started. So when in the real-time hub, in the real-time hub, we have the basically connections to whatever that we want to subscribe to and listen to them when there is any change. Basically, let me make it bigger a bit. Yeah, but we can just start with adding data. With the adding data, we can go with the the sample data that we have. For example, for the stock market, let's connect to the stock market and let's call it stock market source. We cannot use that one. So that stock market is going to be just pushed to our event stream, and let's see how it does look like. Oh, nice, Isaac. You have registered for DP-700, so see you in the next 4 weeks as well, hopefully. But the thing is that our planned sessions are until December 30th. I try to have the last session sooner, but yeah, thank you. So we have created that. Let's open the event stream that we have created. The data has been streaming. It is active, and it is in the live mode. In order to make the changes, we need to just go to the edit. In the bottom, it is live, and it is just streaming from those sources that we have, and it is the data that we are seeing here. But in order to change it and modify the event stream, you can just put it in the edit mode, and from here we can basically it is something like what we had in the pipelines that you could just drag and drop, or following a flow of the data, but data is flowing basically. The data is flowing from here, going to the stream, and then we can transform it. If we want to transform it, then we can just say, hey, filter that. I want to filter it by not huge, for example. Not huge. Let's say filter in the action. I say not huge. The symbol does not equal to huge, and save. So the data is coming here, but there is complaining because there is no destination for that. We can add a destination, and the destinations that we can have are basically the activators, the event house and lake house, and also another stream. But why I cannot see the KQL here? Maybe it is because I haven't added that yet. For my event house. From here. Yeah. Oh, I can go for the event house. Do we have the event house here? Yeah. I have the event house here. Sorry, I just mixed it up with warehouse. So the destinations are lakehouse, event house. It can go to a custom endpoint or an activator or another streaming event. So here we choose the event house because we want to write the KQL my event house, let's call it. And the destination name, the event house is going to be created, my event house. The table is going to be selected from what we have created on top. And the table, let's say stock market. And what else? Oh, we have to create a new table, stock market. Then we can just publish it. Cool. Once it is published, the data is going to be shown in our database, the database of the KQL. The KQL database can be found here. Let's look at this. It is our KQL. Okay. Now, if you go to the this actually our workspace, we can find our my event house, and for that KQL database. Event house is basically a container of the KQL databases. Sorry, I need to just take something. Just 3 hours and a half. I've been sitting. So the table is not created yet. I'm just actually waiting for this guy. Yeah, now the data is coming in. So the table that we have is the stock market, right? Ashkan is asking for references to study more. Maybe by tomorrow I will just share some links in the meetup section. But maybe as part of the sharing the recording, I will add some links for just learn more. But of course, you can follow the Microsoft Learn, right? Microsoft Learn is going to be very useful, and why not rewatching the video? If there was a lot of notes, you may have to just rewatch some sections. Yeah, I know it is a very long one. However, we have the the database, the table here, and we can write the query. The queries for the KQL query, are basically is going to be part of the KQL query sets. that are just the number of queries that we write in KQL. We will just see how it does look like and how it can be generated. Even we can write the T-SQL, but for the exam, you will need to know the KQL itself. However, for your day-to-day use, you can use your T-SQL, and it can be explained and translated to the KQL. In order to writing the KQL, you can have the comments by / and the table name is just reading queries all the data. It is basically the KQL is the pipeline delimiter base. Each line is going to be started with a pipeline. And for example, if we are going to count them like this, or if we want to just take top n number of records, we can just use take. Or let me just bring it here. For example, if we want to have specific fields, we use the project as a keyword and then field names. And even we can have the where clause, right? We keep it more advanced, right? For example, here we are using a where clause to if the state equals to Texas or something like that. And even we can make it more just for top number of these guys. And the other thing is that, which is not here, is to showing them in a graph. So let's jump into our portal, and here we can create a the query with the code. We can just open the query here, or even create choose the KQL query set, and it is going to be just some tabs here. For example, this one, as I mentioned, take 100 is only taking the top 100 of them, or it is a case. The intelligence behind that, and we can just say where, for example, symbol equals to B M Z, and then just run it. It's going to just show us these, and if we want to just make it more, we can just say, I want only the ask price, or sorry, for the time. Sorry, I want the fields of time. I want pizza bid price and ask price. Then it's going to just show me something like this. Even I can make it more complex and say, now just summarize it for me. It is summarize it by, let's see how it's going to summarize it, but I think we can say for summarize, I think it should be something by time. Let's say no, the summarize is not writing like this, but with the render it can show, with the render, for example, we can just say just show them in a bar chart for me, or something like this. It is going to be very long one. Yeah, that's it. There are some best practices. Of course, you need to just make yourself more strong on KQL. There are some best practices: reduce the amount of data that you're working on, do the filtering, early, and use the right data types that you're checking and comparing the data, and when you're doing the transformation, when you are pushing the data into your event house, and some additional considerations that you can find in the Microsoft Learn page for sure. And the query sets that we've got, you can just, let me just go back here, is the query set that you have, right? And of course, it is going to be saved somewhere. The query sets that we have created here. And let me see if we can see that in the the query sets are, do we have it here? Let me check it. We have the query set here in this database, but and just some more things. Sorry, while we are here, we can just save it to a dashboard. We can create a new dashboard. Just my RTD, the dashboard that I have. For example, count of I don't know, BMZM, right? Per, not the count, the prices. However, we may have to just put it as one, but let's see how the dashboard is going to look like. The dashboard that we have just created, if it is available here, the real-time dashboard that you have created. It needs to be only one. Let me check the query behind that. Yeah, it is showing as a table, but of course it can be changed to a a bar chart or something like that. Which is not the thing that we want to discuss, but just wanted to show you how the the KQL query sets can be used. The KQL query sets can be a separate item like this, for the tracking the data. The query set, and I just say KQL query set 1, let's say, and save it. I think I copied this whole of that, and here we can just from here we can connect to the sources that we want to work on. For this one, we look at the event house, but the other options are available: Data Explorer, Azure Data Explorer, or Azure Application Insights, Azure Log Analytics, which is also important. When in a workspace, how the analysis actually you can just log the look at the activities from your team and whoever is working in your workspace. But let's connect to this one, and the data source that I've added here is my data source, and here are some examples are added there, but I want to just put what I have, and it can be just the databases that I can add to my Explorer. That's it. I think that's enough for the KQL query sets. And for the summarize, we had to put the column name, the alias, then that one. Let's have it here. It's a good thing to have. I would like to say, just summarize. Let's say sum of something, and yeah, let's say just say sum of ask price, then maybe we can get rid of this project one here. It should be case sensitive, as it mentioned. I'm just looking at if it can be. Okay, it doesn't like the sum. Then we can go for by, then time. It's going to be by this one. Then do we have ID here by any chance? What are the other columns? Let's look at the sequence. Still complaining about something. Yeah. The count. Oh, yeah, I see. Then we can maybe what is it complaining about? It must be a number. I want to just the date time that I have is not a number, but is complaining about. Yeah. Anyway, it is not. Doesn't like if I find a way to just summarize it. I wanted to just have a nice example of what we have here, but it seems it is not working. Cool. Yeah, you can from the result set that you have in your KQL query set, you can copy the data. You can just link it to clipboard, link and query to clipboard, and just do something with your with your results. Right? You can just do that. Once the data is ready. The data is not here. Let me just have it from here. Then the data can be exported. And yeah, and just it can be copied to the clipboard, or doing something with your data. For copying the query, I think you have to just select that and then copy for query. Those items that are in the slides are not available here. For that one, I have no idea for now. If I find again anything, I will let you know. Awesome. The rest are, basically the admin stuffs that are not part of the DP-600, but it is maybe good to just have a quick look at them. That are, the data security design, the workspace roles that we discussed, in the past 2-3 sessions. That we have the admin, member, contributor, and viewer, and each of them has a set of permissions that you can just specify the member to part of a workspace role. And also when you're just managing the item that we discussed the previous week, to how to manage the permissions. And today also we had one example of sharing our semantic model. And here, for example, is how we are configuring the lakehouse read access when we are sharing with others. That it is basically for just sharing from what we have from our lakehouse. And of course, in the data warehouse, we can have this TSQL that we discussed 2 weeks ago. Again, I don't want to talk about them, just repeat it. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, I just remembered. Let's go to our event house. Right, in the event house, where we are doing, where is it? We have created event house here in the real time. It's our KTL database. I didn't want it to. The new event stream, is it this one that we added recently? Yeah, let's open the, this one that we just added. This table, let me just put it in the edit mode. The table in the KQL is basically, just wanted to mention it if I can find it. There was, I think, maybe in the beginning of destination. Yeah. So I forgot to mention about this. When you add a new event house to your as a destination, it is it is going to ask you about the direct ingestion or event processing before ingestion, right? You need to think about this actually when it is going to be before you ingest the data, it is going to be ingested, or firstly process it and then ingest it. Just wanted to let you know about this when you are creating it. So for the one lake access roles in your, I think we have discussed about this. You can basically define the roles in your lakehouse and just give them access to the tables or files, and then assign users to those roles. And yeah, that's it. Some administrator things that is just talking about the Fabric itself and the terminology of Fabric. About the items now. We have created, lots of items. The workspace that we have created for our CI/CD, even, we have created one more. We have the domain that is going to be applied to the domains in your organization, sales, marketing, HR. Each has maybe a separate objectives of the analytics, and so yeah, it is also good to know the admin tasks in Fabric. They basically work on the security and access control. They do the data governance using the One Lake catalog, and the monitoring and customization. There are different tools that they can use: the Fabric admin portal, the PowerShell, SimDelete, and some other admin monitoring workspace. The admin portal is always available here for you. If you're admin or you have access to that, you can just go to the admin portal, find the relevant stuffs that you want to change. For example, for One Lake, integration. For example, for the semantic models, that we have just set up recently. And for the workspace itself, we can just manage the workspace, the admins, but you need to know about the workspace as well. What are the available options in the workspace setting? In order to do that, again, you can go to the to your workspace and just open the workspace setting there. One of the things, for example, the URL that I used in the tabular editor is coming from this connection string, right? The connection string that you can copy is like this: just mark org, then the name of your workspace. Or the other stuff, for example, for the One Lake, when you can just download your One Lake app to see the files in your Windows. For the data warehouse, you could change the collation here from case sensitive to case insensitive. For what else? In the Power BI, you can just, for example, specify the contributors to update the app as well. And just one more thing, while we are in the workspace, you can create the task flows, right? For the task flows, firstly, you need to just create a task, or applying the tasks or using the pre-designed tasks, task flows from the existing ones, right? But you can actually assign something to a task. For example, you have the store task, right? And then you can, create the item from there, or you can, for example, here you can say, hey, just assign it to the task. Let me just attach item. From here to attach item, we can just, for example, choose these two as our storage of the data, and it is going to be look like something like this, that in your task. Then you can just find the task flow in your workspace. There are different types of the tasks that you can create, and you can just add the tasks here for the get data, and then they can be just linked together. For example, it's going to be started from getting data, then to data storage, and you can just assign your is most of the just planning and visualizing of what tasks are available for you in your in your workspace. Cool. It is about just the assigning and for the capacity and for the governing the data. We talked about the endorsements. We looked at the lineage, and for the governed data again, we looked at the one lake catalog. Cool. Now it is the time for the for the surprise that I told you about. I've got some voucher 50% off on any on any Microsoft exam that has to be taken by end of the year, and actually you have to just write the exam by the end of the year, and it is only available for the community members, and for sure for those guys who are available in this session and in the past sessions. What you need to do, just send me a message on the meetup. In the meetup you can just find the organizer, or even you can send me a message on LinkedIn. I will just give the top 5, maybe the first 5 received messages about these vouchers. I need to just make sure that you have attended all the sessions and you've been with us in this series. Then of course I'm going to share the voucher 50% off for any Microsoft exam with you. And thank you very much again for your time. So we have covered all of these stuffs. Just let's have a quick look at what we have done. For the PBIP, we have done it, deployment pipeline, analysis of downstream dependencies, XMLA, and we have deployed even we just did changes for the Power BI template, and for the data sources, we looked at the sharing semantic models. We have discovered the one lake catalog and run real-time hub. We have done this one lake integration for a semantic model. We have implemented a star schema for a lake house or warehouse, by just selecting the fact table and connecting the other dimensions. We have done some KQL querying for filtering, selecting, and aggregating the data. However, the aggregation was not working somehow, but yeah. It is the good thing that you can practice on your own. We have worked on the DAX. We have filtered, selected, and aggregated the data. We have discussed the choice of the storage mode, star schema for a semantic model, relationships, and the different types of the relationships. We worked on the, we talked about the variables. We worked on the variables also, and other functions for the filtering, and for the calculation groups. We talked about that, but didn't create it because it was just messing up all the aggregations that we had for the dynamic format string. If you remember, for those numbers and with that is coming with the actually field parameter for that was for the what do you call it, the visuals. For the large semantic models, we talked about that, the composite model, the combination of direct query and import mode, or import mode and direct lake. We talked about the performance, how it can be analyzed in the Power BI itself to look at the the analyzer, and we just gave some DAX performance improvement, some best practices and tips and tricks. We configured the direct lake for the default fallback. Actually, we talked about that. The refresh behavior is gone from the direct lake tables that are coming from SQL Analytics endpoint, but they are it is an automatic activity for doing the falling back behavior. We have spoken that when we go with the direct lake on one lake and direct lake on SQL endpoints, just a tip on that, for the SQL endpoints, if we use the views, it is not going to utilize the direct lake, and it is going to be a direct query. If it is a basically a row level security is applied, it is not, the direct lake is not working, and it goes to the direct query. And we have implemented incremental refresh for semantic models. Cool, all done. Guys, thank you for your patience. Thank you for being with me in this in the past 4 sessions. We have completed 2, 6, 7, around 11 hours, around 11 or 12 hours, and don't forget to mention us when you pass the exam. Let's celebrate it together. Let's celebrate it and just share your experience from your exam on this DP-600. And if you have planned for the next exam for the DP-700, we'll see you next week, where we start talking about the data engineering in Fabric. Thanks again. I'm just heading to thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, cool. Let's wrap it up. This is almost 4 hours just sitting. Awesome. Thank you very much for your energy and being with us. Have a good one. Enjoy your day, night, wherever you are. Cheers. Bye-bye.